Good afternoon, everyone. We'll try and be quick as well, as you've been in here a long time, I think.
Yeah, nice to meet you all. We will go last half hour and give you a little explanation of what Mega does, and that's me. I'm the co-founder of Mega, and I brought Heather today, and she will have the most of the presentation because she's one of our customers. So instead of hearing from me, you can hear it from one of our live customers. So Mega is built because a year ago there was a narrative in the whole industry that AI would take over the need for human dialogues. And for me, I used to run some of the largest Scandinavian call centers for more than 12 years, had thousands of people sitting doing collection calls, sales calls, inbound, outbound. I think it's a really provoking statement that AI will take over the need for human dialogues. So a year ago, we began to build Mega. Mega is working in top of the funnel as AI voice bots that can call up. You heard a little bit yesterday when Mark, he did a presentation here on the stage. The Mega AI bots for me is supporting human teams. So some of the issues I had in my industry was humans were spending too much time on dialogues that were not relevant for a human being to do, spend too much time of getting customers even in dialogue, and spending 60% of the time even getting a hold on people before they could do the purpose of the call. So that's why we created Mega AI a year ago. We launched 3 months ago globally, and the first customer was you in BSB and 4D contract. Mega AI bots that you heard a little bit yesterday can be trained in all kinds of credit collection calls, business to business, business to consumer. You can use voices in all countries. And some of the things I learned from my time in the industry was actually that you have 8 seconds when you call a customer with the right voice to the right profile, that this would be a positive outcome. So that's some of the things that we brought into AI and into Mega, that today you can work with dialects, you can work with different kind of tonalities. I can speak fast to a young debtor customer, and I could speak lower to another type of customer. That's some of the benefits that you can get with AI. When you saw Mark on the stage yesterday, there was a little latency. The latency is only based because he called a server in US. When we are setting our AI bots up for our customers around Europe, we use local numbers and local servers, also meaning that latency is completely gone. And you can train the bots to do long conversation. I had a bot talk with my bot the other day of 45 minutes discussing with it in all kinds of areas. I don't think you should do that with AI now, but I think AI should do the first top of funnel assignments when you do collection calls, prepayment calls, etc. So that's Mega in its nutshell, and instead of me talking a lot about what we are doing and how we are doing it, I actually want to pass the words over to Heather from 4D Contact and let you explain more about how the use case has been going on from starting with you guys. So let's give a little applause for Heather also.
Thank you. Thank you, Martin, and I'd like to thank Mark Harrison as well for inviting us here today. I'm going to start with a little bit of an introduction to 4D Contact and who we are, but without hopefully waffling on too long. So we're an outsourced international debt recovery provider. We do international and commercial collections. It says there over 30 years of experience, although 4D Contact was only founded in 2018. But our background was from Morton Smith, so those of you who are older in the room might remember this. Receivables, which we sold as a business in 2018 as well. This might seem like I digress, but it's actually quite relevant to this audience, partly because Morton Smith from Invivo, who you've all seen on the panels today, was the original Morton in Morton Smith. And Invivo was, the origins of Invivo was a collections platform we built in-house at Morton Smith to manage our own collections. Charles Mayhew is also here today, which everybody knows, I think, in the business. He was also at Morton Smith and is now at Global Credit Recoveries. And Sarah, Ing and Claire Baker are also here, and they were also Morton Smith alumni. So that's our experience and where we come from anyway. We specialise in voice-led collections. We believe in the power of human conversation to influence behaviours, and that become prevalent when we talk about voice bots here. And we build custom-built solutions. We're not a sausage factory. Our clients come to us for a unique, bespoke service that very much fits their need and their customer relationships. I think that's enough. I was told by Mark not to have a sales pitch for 4D Contact, so that's done. But clearly our head of sales, Richard Brown, is here if you do have any needs, and is just seated over there. So please take those to him. AI, apocalypse or opportunity? There's a lot written about AI at the moment, isn't there? Specifically, and it's all coming for all our jobs. Hopefully that broke up the monotony of all the talking. Replay. There we go. AI, it is coming, we all know that now. There's nothing we can do to halt the revolution, it's on its way. There's a couple of quotes here. The first one, I'll see if anybody knows, it's from a movie, which is, "The arrival of strong artificial intelligence has been inevitable for decades. The variable is when, not if." Does anybody know what that's from?
Terminator?
Nope. Although we nearly had a Terminator quote, but the clearances were too much. Anybody else? Not The Matrix, it's Ex Machina, but good guesses nevertheless. All AI-dominated films. It's amazing if you look back to Terminator, which is celebrating its 40th anniversary in this year, of how long that AI has been on the agenda and also been perceived as a threat. Another quote from McKinsey is, "AI is an acceleration. Disruption from technology invariably comes, and now it's coming faster." I think we're all seeing that. There's no way we can escape it. Anybody's got children, we're trying to make sure they don't do their essays entirely through ChatGPT. But it is here, and we really have to embrace it. I'm lucky enough to have my background before I entered your wonderful industry of financial services was the film business. And I've lived through 2 digital transformations. When I was a young whippersnapper, I joined Warner Home Video when DVD was in its advent. And we all embraced it. Warner Home Video, very fortunately, had a small patent in every DVD sold. And they brought all the other film companies on board and made oodles of money out of it. And I lived in a heyday of great industry parties and fun. I left the business in 2007 when I had my first daughter. At that point, another technological transformation was occurring, and that was streaming. And the business was resisting streaming because they saw it as a piratical threat. And they didn't embrace it, but other people did. And they took Netflix, Amazon, and they took that advantage and stole. And although we are now on board, and Disney are on board, but we lost that first mover's advantage. And what I'm trying to say to you is that it's so important to be at the beginning of these revolutions, to own them, to shape them, and make sure that you've got a part of this future. I think we all know that predictive AI is now pretty much embedded. Most people here, I'm assuming, are using a software collections platform of some form, and that will be using predictive AI to automate processes, do the data analytics. The question we're now looking at is, what's the role of generative AI in data collection, and how can that be harnessed to our advantage? And specifically here, we're looking at it, obviously, within voice bots. So what do we think AI, generative AI or voice bots can deliver? It's all very well saying we want to technologically transform. Everybody sometimes goes on the journey that Mark spoke about, but not really knowing what they want out of it. But the question is, there's loads of advantages that generative AI can deliver us. Efficiency gains. Clearly, automating repetitive tasks, not simply as we did with predictive AI, just putting things in a workflow, but actually doing some of that heavy lifting and allowing our human agents to do the quality calls. 24/7 operations. It's difficult to get someone available to call all around the clock without paying additional fees. An AI voice bot doesn't care whether it's 7 o'clock and past children's bedtime. They're happy to keep making those calls, which enables us to reach those consumers which are slightly more difficult to hit. Data-driven decisions, can it make better predictions on debtor behaviour? And can we use this to inform our collection strategies? And cost reduction. Ultimately, we all know there's a cost when a debtor call is made. If we've got to have a team of 100,000, however many human agents sitting there to achieve 100% coverage, there's a point at which it's just no longer cost efficient. Voice bots enable us to reach every consumer, every customer, with a call and then receive a contact. And the final point is obviously scalability. We don't have to train people up fast. We don't have to have 30 people in an office if we want to hit everybody just before the year end and make sure we optimise our cash collection. These AI voice bots enable debtor reach to be achieved fast and cost effectively. So why did we partner with Mega AI? We wanted to see whether Mega voice bots could work within debt collection. The aim was to understand whether they could provide a top-of-the-funnel triage for the process and to see whether, and remove some of those routine tasks, as we've said, do some of the heavy lifting and take that off our human agents, and whether the greater availability of time would improve debtor contact rates. Which again, if this worked, it would potentially improve us to increase scalability and speed, and ultimately what we're all keen on, cost to serve. Why Mega AI? I can't deny it, Mega's our second foray into the voice bot world. The first one was slightly more painful, this one has been much more smooth. Initially the technology, just when we tried it, just really wasn't ready. And we're seeing a different place with Mega. I could go on about their sales pitch here, but there's 2 points that were really prevalent to us. One, human collaboration. They saw it as sitting alongside human teams, not as entirely replacing them, as enabling them, as enhancing them. The second point is they're keen to be partners. They're not coming in here just with a ready-made one-size-fits-all debt collection solution, which they think we need. They've listened to us, spoken to us, and worked with us to overcome the specific challenges of our industry and to see if we can get voice bots to work for us. So, key considerations, you'll all know some of these are UK specific, but some of them, it depends if you're commercial or consumer collections. We have the looming presence of the FCA in the UK. Script accuracy. Debtors don't go in a straight line in conversation, as Martin has pushed the voice bot to. We need to make sure that they're accurate, there's clear escalation procedures, and people don't end up in endless loops with a voice bot. And obviously we also have Ofcom regulations in the UK, which I'm sure across Europe as well, about the number of outbound calls you can make. Can't ring too many times, too often, at the right times. So the first thing we've done is a very simple, and I look at this chart, I think that doesn't look very simple. Top of the funnel triage. I don't really want to go through this in too much detail because I know you've all, as I said earlier, you've all been here ages. Essentially, we're just trying to, at this point, identify customers that are ready to pay, send them an SMS, secure that payment. If there's an issue, escalate them to a human agent. Second point that comes out of it, which comes at the end of this, is all of this creates data which is available for analytics and enables us to better improve our second contact strategy. So, what did we do? Now, I have to admit this is an exceedingly tiny sample. The reason being that we were, as we mentioned earlier, bitten before, and certainly didn't want to put anything too live into the funnel. And that's not to deny AI's capability, but more to explain our own nervousness. So we did 574 UK customers, and they were identified as change of tenancy. These mean they're complex customers. They're not where Mega would perform at its best, as we knew it would be a top-of-the-funnel triage. But we also knew if it could get some payments through this complex audience, that there were future learnings that would really enable us to be more confident to put it into greater live data. So as I said, it's high complexity. Expectation was a low level of success, and clearly for us there was a low risk to revenue. Contact was made 3 times over a period of 10 days. We used landline versus mobile and some morning and afternoon and evening time variances. There was 1,100 calls approximately were made, and 6%, which is tiny, you're all going to say, but remember these are change of tenancy, we already knew they might not answer, they might not be there, achieved a conversation with a customer. And 48% of these were successful, and 52% secured data to inform strategy. Obviously 94 failed to collect, but that's, as we said, to be expected. I want to come on to the conclusions because these numbers are a little bit difficult to present. What's the key takeouts? Not unexpected due to our sample audience. We knew that most of them wouldn't be available, they were change of tenancy and was going to be complex. The data was used we knew that its best place would be as low-hanging fruit, which will tick one of Mark Harrison's one of his business speak lingo boxes, and the data we used was top-of-the-tree complexity. But the objective of the trial was to answer three key questions. Would people engage with the bot? Would people trust the bot to enable payments? And would the outcome of the bot help devise subsequent contact strategies? And all three of those were proven at this very initial contact stage. What we've seen really is trust in AI is starting to grow. People are now more comfortable in talking to computer-generated voices. For many people, actually, and maybe particularly in a debt collection world, they don't mind speaking to a voice bot. If you're not in commercial debt collection and you're a consumer, you don't necessarily want to be engaging in your deeper financial details with another human being. And if anybody's got a Gen Z child, you know they don't like to speak to anybody at any time. SMS and AI API portal documentation integration, that's a hard word to say at lunchtime, can remove some of the triage elements in the initial debt recovery process. Essentially, can you say, hello, yes, I am aware of that debt. Oh, I'm sorry, I've forgotten to pay. Can you send me a payment link? Simple. Oh, I'm not aware of that debt. What is it? It's with this company. Could you send me an invoice? Those which can take simple human time can all be handled automatically, remotely by a bot. And that second stage strategies can be informed from the outcome file. This is not just about resolving customer payments, it's about data learnings and using that data to better inform future strategies. Feedback to Mega. So we are on a journey with Mega. I'm going to say it openly and proud. Sometimes you do go on a journey and you don't necessarily know where your destination is or it's going to change. You know what you want, where you want to go approximately, but as you go on that route, there will be things, there'll be twists and turns in that road, and you'll learn and you might end up somewhere slightly different to where you thought you were going. We're definitely quite in early stages of our journey with Mega, but we think we're on the right path. And we fed back to them on this. We do need more flexibility on call timings. We need weekends would definitely help with the consumer data. More flexibility to alternate outbound numbers, more dialect options which are coming, which Martin could talk to more. Just making sure we've got that computer says no built in so people don't end up in loops. As much as Martin might like to have a 45-minute conversation with a bot, I'm not sure every consumer does. More work around vulnerability, particularly for consumer collections. I'm not sure how that fits across the rest of Europe, but it's so prevalent in the UK. Financial difficulty, mental health, making sure they're very quickly picked up and escalated. And real-time data enhancements based on call outcomes, so making sure that all this data is therefore automatically logged within your collections process, so the next time someone picks up this call, they're using making a data-informed call and not repeating anything. Our strategy is to refine these over the next 3 months until the perfect recipe is achieved, and Mega AI and Novel, we're working with them to add these to their roadmap and to make sure they occur. So what do we see the vision of the future for it? Clearly there's a massive role for data cleansing. There's a place for this top of the funnel triage at the moment to get rid of that low-hanging fruit and enable your human agents to really make that content where they can add value. We can predict debtor behaviour. The system, and Martin will talk better to this, will learn from every call and conversation. Initially, in order for us to get going, we put 10,000, there was a lot of calls, weren't they, put into the system. So, do you know the number, Martin?
Yeah, more than 10,000, yeah.
More than 10,000 of our recorded calls, which helps inform how the bot performs. And that will clearly, as we continue to do that and continues to record data, it will nuance itself and inform and learn. Personalised engagement, there's a natural workflow, ethical compliance and scalable automation. And that really the advantage we see where we are. As I say, we're very much at the early stages of this journey, but we felt that we really wanted to share that with you. So hopefully you'll all come on the journey with us.
Just before I also let you go out to probably eat some lunch very soon, as you said, Heather, for us it's not just about the voice bots. The voice bots is a part of our solution. I'm coming from outbound industry where we made 400,000 outbound calls a month for 12 years. So it's not just about the voices, different kind of voices. As you said, we are training the bots on your data. So if you have done collection calls, I have customers coming with 10,000s of customer calls based on how they want it to be done in their business. So you have all your different way of doing things, and that's a part of it is that you come with your own data, we train it on your own data, we train it as behaving as your collector's best sidekick, best friend besides them, and operates as you want them to operate. Then it's also about, as you said, analytic data, and in my world when you have, and especially in the UK market, there's a big difference of having good data and bad data. We also experience some bad data and no good phone numbers and people picking up the phone, etc., etc. So that's also a part. We are enriching data, we are analyzing data when we have enough of it to figure out when was the right time to call, with what message, from a landline, from a mobile phone number, with this type of voice, with this type of voice. Should we send an SMS before we call? Should we send an SMS after we call? All of these things are not something we just think, oh, this is how it is. We are analyzing those things, and based on that, the bots will improve and improve and improve. So that's also a big part of it. And for some of you that had a lot of data, we have mathematic brains in the company that analyze your already existing data. What was working for you before, and we take that knowledge and put it into the system. So we are a full outbound system where we also have inbound lines. Some of our other debt collection companies that are luckily after you massively coming on board right now for both Spain, Germany, Denmark, UK, US. All of them are bringing something into to the journey, and some of them also need to have inbound line. Was a new requirement that some of you guys are sending thousands of letters out every month. There will be a phone number, let the debtor call in there also and do the first time resolution by a bot also. And again, as you said, for me it's super important. I don't think a bot should do long dispute handling with a client. I think there's a big need for a human element here and human communication. So that's why every time the bots or the customer wants to talk and the bot think now the dialogue getting a little bit too complex, now it would be good for a human, then we transfer the call down to a human agent. And that means that I talked with one of your team leaders the other day in one of your calls, and he had 27 transfer calls down to them. So instead of them sitting and calling up and waiting, now the transfer call comes in to the collection department sitting there. And that's efficiency on a high level in my world. Thank you so much for listening. Come out to the mega team after. Samantha, my colleague sitting down with Richard Brown, also sent you a little personal message on your app. And there is a little bot demo in also there, so you can hear a little bit. If you want to explore the possibilities, come by. Thank you so much for your time, and enjoy some lunchtime also.